animated Spider-Man series.
Yeah.
You know, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man coming to Disney Plus
Right.
January 29th, 2025.
Yeah.
So we got this interview with the showrunner, Jeff Trammell, from Screen Rant.
Yeah, this is really interesting to me.
Yeah.
Just because, you know, there's so much superhero stuff out there.
Yeah.
And this seems like it's going to be like a, you know, kind of a grounded take, a little bit more street level.
Yeah, Trammell really emphasizes, you know, the importance of establishing a street level, grounded Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Particularly in these early stages. You know, it's going back to that classic friendly neighborhood
Spider-Man.
Yeah,
I think that's really smart.
Yeah.
You know, there's definitely been a trend towards that.
Oh, yeah.
Like even looking at Daredevil or Superman and Lois, I think people really like that kind of like smaller scale, more personal kind of stakes.
Totally. And it really seems like a deliberate choice to differentiate this Spider-Man from what we've seen in the MCU.
Yeah, I think that's a good move.
Yeah.
Because we already have that.
Right.
You know, they're doing their thing over there.
And they just kind of dropped us into the middle of it.
Exactly.
With Tom Holland's Spider-Man. But, you know, this show, it's like they're actually taking the time to explore Peter Parker's origin story.
Yeah, which I think is really smart.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much potential there.
Yeah.
To give us a fresh take on that, even though it's a story we know.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, it's familiar territory.
Exactly.
But they can do so much with it.
Yeah.
Especially in animation.
Totally.
And speaking of familiar territory,
yeah,
Norman Osborn.
Oh, yeah. Big one.
He's going to be in the series. It's huge.
That's huge. Yeah, he's such a key part of the Spider-Man mythos.
Right. He is.
You know, Green Goblin. He brings so much, you know, in terms of like just that psychological tension and complexity to the story.
I'm really curious to see which version of Norman Osborn they go with.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, are we going to get like full-on villain from the start?
Yeah.
Or are they going to explore, you know, that descent into madness?
Yeah, are we going to see like the, you know, kind of like the more human side of him before he becomes the Green Goblin?
There's so much they can do with that character dynamic.
Yeah, and it seems like Trammell is hinting that, you know, Norman Osborn might even be like a more immediate focus.
Oh, really?
Than like any multiverse stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it seems like they're really kind of setting him up as like a major antagonist.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's partly a way to let this Spider-Man, you know, kind of develop his own identity.
Yeah.
His own rogues gallery, maybe. Before potentially being thrown into, you know, the larger multiverse.
Yeah, I think that's really smart. I think it allows for, you know, more of a gradual buildup.
Right.
Gives the audience time to really get invested in this particular Spider-Man in his world.
In his world, yeah.
Before expanding things outward. Kind of like how they did with Tom Holland.
Right.
In the MCU.
Yep, exactly.
Slowly integrating him.
Yeah.
It's really interesting, you know, this whole starting with a more grounded story before getting to the multiverse stuff.
Yeah.
It actually reminds me of how they handled Tom Holland's Spider-Man in the MCU.
Oh, tell me more.
Like, think about it.
Yeah.
When we first meet him in Civil War, it's like a brief appearance.
Right.
Right?
Right.
You see his powers and like that youthful energy.
Yeah.
But they don't immediately throw him into like some crazy world-ending situation.
Right.
Then you have Homecoming, which is very much like a street-level story, high school drama.
Yeah.
Figuring out his powers.
Yeah.
The villain is dangerous, but not like a Thanos.
Not like a Thanos.
Right, exactly. So it's like you really get to connect with Peter Parker. Just as a person, as a teenager, trying to balance, you know, everyday life with being Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And then as his story progresses, they slowly introduce him to the bigger MCU stuff.
Right.
The bigger threats, the multiverse.
Yeah, it's like they're slowly building to those epic moments.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a gradual thing.
So you're saying they might be taking a similar approach with this animated series?
I think it's definitely possible. You know, starting with the origin story, focusing on that friendly neighborhood aspect.
Right.
It establishes a strong foundation.
Yeah.
So when or if he does encounter the multiverse, it feels like a natural progression.
Not just a random thing.
Yeah, not just like, oh, hey, look, it's the multiverse.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, and honestly, I think that could make those multiverse moments even more impactful.
Absolutely.
Because we've already invested in this version of Peter Parker, so we'll care more about what happens to him.
Exactly. Like, imagine the emotional weight.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
If this Spider-Man, who we've seen grow and struggle and have victories in his own little corner of the universe, suddenly comes face to face with another version of himself?
Oh, yeah.
Or a multiversal threat?
I'm getting chills. Okay. I'm fully on board with this slow burn approach now.
Yeah.
But I can't lie. A part of me is like dying to know.
Of course.
What kind of multiverse craziness they could come up with.
Oh, yeah.
What are some possibilities?
Well, I mean, the obvious one is other Spider people.
Oh, yeah.
We've already got Spider-Verse.
Right.
So seeing this animated Spider-Man interact with Miles Morales or Spider-Gwen.
Oh, my gosh, yes.
Even Spider-Man Noir.
Right. And each of those characters brings something different.
Totally.
Like Miles with his powers and connection to the Ultimate Universe.
Yeah.
Gwen with her music and her tragic backstory.
Yeah.
And Noir with like that gritty film noir aesthetic. Exactly.
The possibilities are endless.
And it's not just the other Spider people.
Yeah.
It's the whole Marvel Universe.
Oh, yeah.
Different timelines, different dimensions, different realities.
Could we see him team up with the X-Men?
Maybe.
Or go cosmic with the Guardians of the Galaxy?
Who knows?
Don't forget about the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Ooh, maybe even a Deadpool crossover.
Ooh, that would be interesting.
I know.
Could be a little edgy for Disney Plus, though.
True.
But hey, you never know.
Okay, my mind is officially blown.
Yeah.
But, beyond the fun of those crossovers, there's a real opportunity here for some deeper exploration of Spider-Man.
Absolutely.
Like seeing him react to different versions of himself.
Yeah.
Different takes on his story. It could really give us some insight into who he is.
Yeah, it's like the multiverse becomes a mirror.
Oh, I like that.
Reflecting different facets of him.
Wow.
And those reflections could challenge him, push him to grow.
Make him a better hero.
Exactly.
It's not just spectacle.
Right.
It's a chance to really delve into character development.
Yeah, and explore some complex themes.
Yeah.
It's like every new world, he encounters every new challenge. It shows us a different side of Spider-Man.
Exactly.
It shows us what makes him such an amazing hero.
Yeah. It's pretty cool how they're like taking their time with the multiverse stuff and your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Yeah, it seems like a really smart move.
Yeah, especially now with so many superhero stories, just like jumping right into it.
I know. It's like, it's almost become an expectation.
Right.
Like every story has to have some kind of multiverse thing.
Exactly. And while those stories can be super fun,
Oh, yeah.
there's always a risk that they'll just feel overwhelming or kind of lose sight of the characters themselves.
It's like if everything is a multiversal crisis, then nothing really matters.
Exactly.
But by starting with something more grounded, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man can really make those multiverse moments feel special.
Right, they're building anticipation.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to pay off big time when those worlds collide.
Like they're saying, hey, we're not rushing this.
Yeah.
We're taking the time to really establish this Spider-Man.
Yeah. His world, his relationship.
His world.
So when the multiverse does show up, you're going to feel it.
Yeah. And I think that makes sense, especially given who they're making this show for.
Right.
It's probably going to appeal to younger viewers. Who maybe haven't seen all the other Spider-Man stuff.
Yeah, so starting with a more familiar, relatable story makes sense.
Yeah, it lets them connect with Peter Parker, like on a personal level,
Yeah, see his struggles as a teenager.
Exactly.
But also his triumphs.
And then when the multiverse stuff happens, they'll be more invested.
Exactly, they'll care more about what's at stake.
Yeah, it's like they're laying the groundwork for this huge journey that takes him from like the streets of New York to like the farthest reaches of the multiverse.
But he's always going to have those core values.
Yeah, right? Those experiences that shaped him.
Yeah, it's what makes Spider-Man so timeless,
Yeah.
no matter what he's facing.
Yeah,
He's always that friendly neighborhood hero.
exactly.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man,
Yeah,
I think the big takeaway is that they're really playing the long game here.
totally.
They're building a world, a character,
A story.
a story that could be really special.
Yeah, and even though the multiverse is out there,
Yeah,
this series is about so much more than that.
right.
It's about identity,
Responsibility.
the power of connection.
Even when things get crazy,
Exactly.
it's a Spider-Man for a new generation.
But with that classic feel.
And that is something to be excited about.
Now we want to hear from you.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this, like, back-to-basics Spider-Man?
Are you excited about the series?
What are you hoping to see?
And what kind of multiverse crossovers would you like to see?
Let us know in the comments.
Keep the conversation going.
And don't forget, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man
swings onto Disney+.
January 29th, 2025.
We'll be back to break down each episode
and explore all the twists and turns of this new adventure.
Until then, stay curious.